So you're looking really at the middle of area of the shoulder where there's a slight dip, and this one is very much a pressure point. So there's one on the right and one on the left, and if you feel the bottom of the ears, and there's a slight depression just going in slightly there. On the meridian acupoint, it's the large intestine 4, which is known as Valley of the Union. It creates a V shape here. Most of these trigger points are located in sort of skin depression areas, or valleys, or hollows is what they're known as. So these hollows are in between the muscles and the tendons, and by pushing on them you can relieve any blockages in those areas. Hello Melissa.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me again today to focus on relieving tension headaches through the use of acupressure. Tension headaches tend to occur with slight pain on both sides of the head, and they are the most common form of headaches. Others being things like migraines and cluster headaches, which we'll cover another day. But tension headaches, often caused by the way that we live in the contemporary world, so often caused by stress, eye strain, in particular overuse of computers and technology, and also tension in the neck muscles. And to help relieve that, an overall approach to well-being is really, really needed to help relieve those tension headaches. So what I'm going to do in order to help you relax today is I'm going to put an eye mask on you. Exciting. It will help to block out the light, and it's a really additional way of adding in some relaxation to a treatment that can really help to relax that whole area and bring on a sense of relaxation and well-being overall. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video, which is Manta Sleep. And this is a wonderful eye mask. I have this here, which I use myself, and I find it very helpful, in particular when I want to relax, sometimes even during the day when you just want to take 5 minutes out of your time to try and squeeze in a quick nap, especially if you're sleep deprived, and you can manage to squeeze in a nap during the day. I find this particularly helpful in allowing me to do that. So I'm going to pop this on you just to see that you can get a feel for the mask, and then I'm going to explain a little bit. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels lovely. It's actually really good at getting out the light.
Yeah, so this is the one that you would use if you really wanted to block out the light. I'm just going to take it off again, because what I want to introduce you to is the miraculous thing about this mask is that you can change these cups. So this is the one to block out the light in particular, but what they also have is some different cups which are cooling. So I'm just going to show those to you now. They're a bit weightier because they've been in the freezer. And they've got, if you feel that, they've got a wonderful cooling effect.
Oh, lovely. Cool.
And you can imagine those actually on your eyes. So double check that you've got it the right way.
Oh, so you just stick it
those on.
That's so
stick
neat.
it on. Really neat. And then,
yeah.
you know, you were talking in particular in your consultation about eye strain,
That's not too
sinuses,
heavy either, actually.
headaches,
Wow.
and that just really helps to get you into a much more relaxed state. You've mentioned that eye strain in particular. You can imagine that nice cooling aspect. Lying on the bed with this, maybe just for a quick, maybe you've got in from work and you're feeling that tension headache coming on, or your eyes are feeling a bit strained. So, a quick nap lying on the bed, or even sitting just relaxed in a chair. Pop that cooling treatment on with the eye mask, switch off 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll be amazed at how that can help to relieve those tensions. So for everyone watching, please do check out the link that I have for this in the description. Look out for the discount code, and also in the link to learn more about these wonderful masks and what they can do for you. Right, while you've got the mask on and you're relaxing, I just want to talk to you a little bit about acupressure for those people who've not come across this before. So acupressure is a traditional Chinese treatment. It's based on the principle of something called qi, or energy, that flows through 14 meridians, or another way of thinking of that is the pathways through the body. You apply pressure at specific points, and these are known as acupoints, along those meridian lines, and that is supposed to strengthen the flow of qi and remove blockages. Now, there are hundreds of these acupoints along the meridian lines, and many of those points are known to really relieve pain and improve common ailments, and again promote an overall sense of well-being. So an acupressure point is like an increased sensitivity point along each of these meridians, and there are 14 meridians. And we're going to be working on some of them today, but I just want to go through the meridians so that you know what the main 14 are. So you've got the lung, the large intestine, the stomach, the spleen, the heart, the small intestine, the bladder, the kidney, the pericardium, the triple warmer, the gall bladder, the liver, the conception vessel, and the governing vessel. And those are your 14 meridians. And you can see with some of the visuals I've got dotted around that the meridians go up and down through the body, and that's what you're trying to relieve with pressing on some of these acupoints. This Chinese science, it's based on beliefs from over 2,000 years ago, and it's practiced by thousands of people worldwide. It's not a substitute for medical treatment, but it can be complementary to this. And for many people, acupressure, and indeed self-acupressure, can relieve these common aches and pains that we suffer from, and it can really help promote that overall sense of relaxation and well-being. Most of these trigger points are located in sort of skin depression areas, or valleys, or hollows is what they're known as. So these hollows are in between the muscles and the tendons, and by pushing on them you can relieve any blockages in those areas. And obviously, once you get to know your client, you'll get to know how much tension or pressure you need to use for each areas. Sometimes if people are suffering from pain in a particular area, you just need to err on the side of caution, and just be careful. Just constantly communicate with your client as to how much pressure you should be using. And also, a word of caution: anybody that is pregnant or has cardiac issues, acupressure is not recommended unless you've got a really, really experienced therapist who specifically has studied those areas. So avoid that during those times. There are, so just narrowing this down into the area that we want to treat today, there are specific points that are known to help with tension headaches in particular. These are known as Gall Bladder 20 and 21, and the large intestine, number 4, the small intestine, number 3, the stomach, 36, the bladder, 60. And we're going to look at some of these today. But for those of you that are particularly interested in acupressure, I find the subject totally fascinating, but there's a lot to learn about it. And as I said, you need to get into your head the 14 main meridians, and then each acupoint is given a number. And then, depending on what text you're looking at, they're also given some names. The original names are in Chinese, which I would not attempt to pronounce, but there are English versions if you want to look those up as well. And I might mention some of the key ones we're looking at today. Obviously, one of the main approaches to well-being is looking at sleep, and again, the sleep mask is helpful for that in terms of blocking out light in particular. But these new modern sleep masks can really help with some of these other aspects, such as eye strain that we're looking at, and tension headaches today. And as part of an overall approach to well-being, that includes things like good nutrition, exercise, reducing stress where you can, adding in something like a holistic treatment or acupressure treatment that is specifically geared to what your client is going through at the moment, is always useful in enhancing that overall sense of well-being. Now we're going to move into treating those specific acupoints that I mentioned earlier. So just as a reminder, that's the gallbladder 20 and 21, the large intestine 4, the small intestine 3, and the stomach 36. Are you still feeling relaxed, Melissa?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Good.
It's drifting off.
Okay, so what we're going to do is really home in on some of these acupressure points that are going to help with tension headaches in particular. And the first one we're going to start with is gallbladder 20. And I did say earlier that some of these have names specifically for them, and this one is called wind pool. And so that we get a clearer visual, I'm just going to pop your hair to one side temporarily. And then if these points So there's one on the right and one on the left. And if you feel the bottom of the ears and there's a slight depression just going in slightly there, and what you need to do is circle these acupoints, so clockwise and then anti-clockwise. And it's quite a tender area here, so just circle points quite gently, one way and then the other. And generally you can do this for up to 2 minutes. On some of your other acupoints, you can put some more pressure on, but on these ones which are quite sensitive, just go gently. So base of the head, long from the ears, you'll find 2 depressions in there. Work those, and that's your first acupoint for tension headaches. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next point. Right, okay, we're going to move on to the second acupoint that we're going to look at today, which is known as Gall Bladder 21, and it also has an English name called Shoulder Well, which actually helps to explain where it is. So you're looking really at the middle of area of the shoulder where there's a slight dip, and this one is very much a pressure point, so you can actually pop that pressure on and hold it there for a while. Obviously if your client has pain in that area, go gently, but you can hold that in that area for quite some time. Can you feel that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to ease off slightly. I'm pushing quite hard, so I'm just going to ease up slightly. I think because this is your right shoulder, which you use quite a lot, there's obviously some blockage in there which needs clearing. And then I'll ease the tension off again. And then because we've gone quite deep, what I'm just going to do is massage that area and then give it a little bit of a knuckle as well, just to ease that area slightly. And that will help to relax that shoulder. We're now going to look at the next acupoint on the hand this time, but actually on the meridian acupoint, it's the large intestine 4, which is known as Valley of the Union. One of the ways to locate this easily is if you put your thumb and finger together, it creates a V shape here. And what you want to do is get in right into that point and push that, and you've got your finger underneath balancing as well. And what you want to do is put quite a lot of pressure on there, and this will really help with relieving headache tension. So quite a lot of pressure there. You can see I'm squeezing quite hard there. And then I'm going to slightly relieve the pressure, and I'm going to ask you to take in a breath and blow it out very gently. That's it. And we'll do that a few more times. And you do that as many times with your client as you want to increase that relaxation. And when you finish that, what you'll do is just massage that area just to relieve any tension you've got in there. Right, okay, for the next acupoint, what we're locating is the edge of the hand here. And this is known as the small intestine 3 and is called the back ravine. Right. And what you would do here is you would use circling pressure alternated with increased pressure. And that should really help to relieve any headache tension. And as with all of these moves, obviously once you've done one side, you would do the other hand. Right, so we've covered some of those main acupressure points, which I hope will lead to helping to relieve your tension headaches, and in particular the mask maybe with the eye strain. I hope the treatment relaxed you and that you will enjoy continuing your relaxation for the rest of the day. So thank you for your time today.